Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Alberta News and Views. I'm going to provide you with an information dump regarding Canada-India relations and that complete nightmare. This Liberal NDP government has turned Canada into a safe haven for the world's shit disturbers. It truly has. And at this rate, Canada will become unsustainable. We will not be able to just go to work and just have business as usual, because usual is gone, long gone in Canada. And if you don't believe that, just go visit a major city or just just tune into Trudeau Media Corp and see what they're talking about. It is unbelievable. So this is from Norman Spector. So here's what Canadian press is reporting on the United States reaction to Mercedes at Global. So to backtrack a little bit, this is the post right here that kind of started it all today. So RCMP have evidence that the operation in Canada goes right to the top of the Indian government, allegedly approved by Prime Minister Modi's closest advisor, Amit Shah. India's crimes in Canada and the politician allegedly behind them. Everything that Justin Trudeau and this Liberal government and Trudeau Media Corp is saying are kind of hypotheticals. They are all allegedly. It's unbelievable that it has come to that. It's normal in Canada, but you can't just go around saying that because the whole world sees it. So then they have to respond on it. So this is what's going on in the United States in response to Justin Trudeau and Trudeau Media Corp. So the United States, the State Department spokesman Matthew Miller says Washington takes the allegations seriously, but would not comment on the substance of the new claims or on India's decision to also expel 6 Canadian diplomats. Miller says the United States has been asking India to cooperate with Canadian authorities for months after the assassination of Sikh activist the Khalistani near Vancouver last year. In a press conference on Tuesday, Miller did not directly criticize India's decision not to cooperate with Canadian investigations. Quote, "As we've seen before, they are serious allegations and we have wanted to see India take them seriously and cooperate with Canada's investigation. They have chosen an alternate path," end quote. His comments come as Indian delegation visited Washington to discuss an alleged murder-for-hire plot that United States officials revealed last November. Now, Miller said the visit by what he called the Indian Inquiry Committee announced on Monday was unrelated to the allegations made public by Canadian authorities that same day. Quote, "The statement announcing the meeting was planned earlier last week, maybe end of the week before. Well, before we were aware of the actions that Canada was going to take over the past few days. So it is completely coincidental," Miller said. White House National Security spokesman John Kirby had similar comments on Tuesday. "I wouldn't speak for the Canadians one way or another, but we have expressed our deep concern about this to our Indian counterparts. They have expressed to us that they are taking it seriously as well." I'll keep you updated with this for as much as I can when I can. Moving on. So now the Sikh community, some Sikh groups, these Khalistanis, call for Indian consulates to be shut down in Vancouver, Toronto. And Jagmeet Singh press conference today echoed the exact same sentiment. They want these consulates to be shut down. When Jagmeet Singh said this, the journalist reporters were laughing at him, saying that's not the way it works. Jagmeet Singh actually has no power, despite what he says. When he says he's going to use his power by propping up Justin Trudeau, it's just everything in Canada right now is an absolute embarrassment. Now, I don't know a lot about the Khalistani India fighting turmoil going on all the time, but I can tell you for sure that the Khalistanis in Surrey and other parts of Canada keep on holding these elections. And I don't know why. They have no legal ground in Canada. It's pretty much just to piss off India. So it's creating like this turf war back and forth with India and these Khalistanis. Like I said at the beginning, Canada has become a safe haven for shit disturbers. It's real easy to do things from Canada. Go do it in your own country. This is getting ridiculous, especially for all these other cultures, people from other countries that are moving to Canada and just want to make money and go to work. They don't want to have to deal with all of this crap that's been going on long before Canada was even thinking about immigrating people from anywhere. Really, it's just ridiculous. So Jagmeet Singh says he wants a parliamentary committee to probe how best to protect Canadians against threats from India. That's what Jagmeet Singh wants to do now. I'm going to read that to you again. Jagmeet Singh says he wants a parliamentary committee to probe how best to protect Canadians. You don't need a committee. You just need to ask Canadians, and they will tell you to stop immigrating shit disturbers, and you deport the ones that are already here, creating problems for everybody else in Canada that it just wants to make an honest living. Just stop. It really is that easy. Moving on. Here is Justin Trudeau telling us that we are so lucky to have him put a price on pollution. Listen to this and I'll tell you why it is just so infuriating.
Today is a good day, because if you live in one of these provinces, check your bank account. You just got the Canada Carbon Rebate. It looks like this, or like this. It's a payment from us that goes out 4 times a year. We put a price on pollution, and the revenue goes straight back into your pocket. So check your bank account or your...
It's not from Justin Trudeau, and it isn't revenue. It isn't something they created. He needs to start being honest. Our government needs to start being honest and using plain language so Canadians are not fooled and we are not wrapped up in this stupid, partisan, bureaucratical nightmare that is the government. He needs to say that all of you taxpayers are paying for a price on pollution. This is your money. So I take your money and now I am going to give your money right back to you. So check your bank accounts. Check your bank accounts, everybody, because the money the government stole from you, all in the name of climate, we are going to give back to only 8 out of 10 Canadians. That is what it is. It is not some revenue. It is not the government being generous. It is your money. It is taxpayer dollars. The $10 a day childcare. It really should say that the Trudeau Liberal government, the Liberal NDP government, is forcing taxpayers to fund a $10 a day daycare, childcare, whatever you want to call it. The Liberal NDP government is forcing Canadian taxpayers to pay for pharmacare now. The Liberal NDP government is forcing Canadian taxpayers to pay for lunches, to pay for dental, to pay for fill in the blank, because that is the truth. They are forcing taxpayers to pay for government programs against their will. It was not on the voting ticket that we would have to pay for all of these programs, because if it was worded like that, nobody would ever pay for it, especially right now with the cost of living completely out. You just can't live in Canada. It costs way too much money. These programs suck. They don't work. Get rid of all of it. Moving on. So all in the name of climate, Stephen Guilbeault wants to force an emissions cap on the oil and gas industry. Now, it is actually a production cap, because if you want to stop emissions, you have to stop production. And he won't come out and call it a production cap, because that means that what Danielle Smith and everybody in the oil and gas sector has been saying for years would be confirmed to be true. So he'll do it overseas. He'll call it a production cap overseas, but he dare not do it here. And this is all if you actually believe that emissions are a problem in this global fight against climate. Because I have yet to see a debate on climate and emissions and green energy and zero carbon net zero, that future, blah, blah, blah. All of these programs are ridiculous and they need to be debated. But nope. Hell no, we're not going down that road. Instead, they just keep on ramming it through. Here is Danielle Smith, the best premier in Canada.
For the premier, Ottawa is capping emissions. It's not capping energy production. So what metric is used to fact check some of the claims in this ad campaign?
Well, look, I mean, they are calling it an emissions cap, but when you have an emissions cap that has an unrealistic over a period where we do not have the technology to achieve it, the only conclusion and the only way to achieve it is through shutting in production. And it's not just us saying that. S&P Global did a report last May where they were the ones who determined that if you were to meet the federal government's timelines by 2030, it would shut in 1 million barrels a day of production. And by 2035, it would shut in 2.1 million barrels a day. So it's the independent analysis that we're seeing not only from S&P Global, but also Deloitte and also Conference Board of Canada, that we've included helpful links at the bottom of each press release if you want to have a look at those.
Okay, my follow-up, you guys launched, I want to say October of last year, a very similar campaign about emissions. How are we measuring effectiveness of this ad campaign? Obviously, you think to some extent the last one worked, or else you wouldn't be doing it again. So how do we say this is effective? How is that all measured?
Well, I can tell you what I observed with the campaign we launched last year, and it was against the net zero power grid by 2035, also asserting our constitutional jurisdiction over electricity. And the Electricity Advisory Committee that advises the federal government agreed with us. They said that you can pursue your aggressive target in those jurisdictions that are not reliant on oil and gas, but in Alberta and I believe Saskatchewan, you have to work with them on a more reasonable target. We've said 2050 is what we've heard from our industry as being a reasonable target for us to try to achieve by in the electricity sector. And I think that we got that external validation. And so we've already had the external validation by these three different analysts, and we're just hoping that other provinces will lend their voices to say the same thing. We're in a very dangerous time with COP29 coming up in Baku. You may recall last year was when Stephen Guilbeault decided to announce without consulting anybody that he was going to pursue this. We're very worried that he's going to do the same thing. So we want to be proactive in making sure that they change course, because this would be devastating for the country.
The only thing that is lowering and will lower emissions, if you believe in all that crap, is technology. Technology, since the beginning of time, has carried humanity forward into a better future. Punishing citizens because of ideology and the fact that you just need taxes because Canada is collapsing, it has never worked and it never will work because people are smart. We never needed fact-checking. Fact-checking never existed. The only reason it exists now is because the world is full of bullshit and bullshitters. And the people at the top are the best ones bullshitting us. And it is obvious. It is so completely obvious that the carbon tax is taking more than it gives back because everything is compounded. And if you have a job, you know this. It is unreal. I will keep you updated with as much as I can when I can. Follow me on Substack, Spotify, and YouTube. All of you out there, like, share, and take care.